Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope everyone else is as festive with it as I am. Nice, fun little Halloween shirt I've got here to express my disdain for the administration in power. And Donald Trump never disappoints when it comes to humiliating us on the international stage. This week, as everybody knows, Donald Trump was in Asia, where he attended a Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. And when he took the stage, he decided that it was somehow a good idea to attempt a very awful Indian accent while trying to quote India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, Modi, of course, was not in the audience, not there. Probably a good thing. But Donald Trump has repeatedly pissed off India because he keeps saying that he ended the conflict between India and Pakistan, and India has made it clear, no, you didn't. But that didn't stop Donald Trump from doing his horrific impression and, of course, claiming that he ended the conflict that he had absolutely no involvement in. So I will show you this rather embarrassing clip in just a moment, but first a quick word from today's video sponsor. By now you know Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed, but almost no one's reporting how ICE will get nearly $40 billion of our tax money each year, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in U.S. history. That's more money than most nations spend on their entire military. So much of our media is either missing the worst of this bill or twisting the language so you think it's all in your best interest. But we've seen the ICE raids ramping up. Now Trump's openly threatening to deport U.S. citizens. This should be the biggest story in America, yet it's buried. Making ground news essential right now is what all of this is doing. They're the only tool I've found exposing these blind spots in the media. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, then analyzing just how far-right and radical each unbiased source actually is, you get way more context than you ever would anywhere else. If we're being honest, we've seen Trump's power grabs throughout history. They said never again, and that means never again everywhere. And right now, it's happening here. So if you want to stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply finding the stories missing from your news feeds, Ground News has you covered. Their app and website is a smarter, more reliable way to stay informed at a time when MAGA is banking on us to stay distracted. So I've partnered with them to get you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I have been using. That comes out to $5 a month for unlimited access to everything I've mentioned and so much more. Just go to ground.news/Farron or scan the QR code to subscribe. With at least another 4 years of this, we can't afford to miss these details.
You're fighting with India. And, two nuclear nations. And they said, no, you should let us fight. They both said that. They're warring. They're strong people, I'll tell you what. Prime Minister Modi is the nicest looking guy. He says, and he looks like you'd like to have your father, he's a killer. He's tough as hell. No, we will fight. I said, whoa, this is the same man that I know. But after a little while, and they're good people, and after literally 2 days, they called up and they said, we understand, and they stopped fighting. How is that? Isn't that amazing? Now, you think Biden would have done that? I don't think so. Most people wouldn't have thought of it, but, they wouldn't have thought of it. No, but here.
Now, admittedly, the accent wasn't, it wasn't a good accent. It wasn't a good thing to do. But I will give credit that it was not as horrific as it could have been, right? He didn't go full, let me do an impression of Apu from The Simpsons, right? Still not okay. Imagine, if you will, if President Biden had done that. had done that to anyone. I mean, if he had met with the Prime Minister of the UK and then was like, yeah, I was talking to him, and he was like, oh, look here, you know, what, I have a horrible British accent. But the point is, that is incredibly disrespectful, especially for a world leader. If you're a comedian or an actor and you have to do something like that, I can see it. There was no reason for Trump to even attempt any kind of accent there. But believe it or not, that's not even the most humiliating part of Donald Trump's little diatribe there. As I mentioned, his claims that he ended the India-Pakistan conflict have been met with a lot of hostility in New Delhi. They don't like him saying that because, again, he had nothing to do with it. They have made it clear, you didn't do anything. This isn't your victory. You're not involved. And also, the conflict hasn't exactly ended either. And what's funny about that to me is that the rest of the world knows it. You know, a couple weeks ago, I talked about how the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, some of them had done interviews, and they mentioned, like, he keeps saying he ended these wars, but no, he didn't. He has no involvement in them. And again, none of them even actually ended. So Trump can pull the wool over the eyes of all these gullible rubes here in the United States about ending 8 wars, as he claims. Across the globe, outside of our borders, they know that that didn't happen. They know. They're not as stupid as we are. So that's very problematic. Another thing that's problematic for the president who had an MRI recently and won't tell us why is the low energy, the slurring of his words, the attacks on his predecessor, Biden. Nothing he said was coherent, right? Nothing fit into a theme. He wasn't doing the weave. He was a doddering, elderly, possibly demented old man going through a stream of consciousness that nobody in that room understood. That is how that is so humiliating to us as American citizens on an international stage. They're not fooled by his lies the way our country is, the way our media is. They recognize the symptoms of dementia when they see them. And they understand that this man is one of the greatest threats to global peace in existence today. They know that his economic plans are destroying us here in this country and having ripple effects across the globe. They know how bad and dangerous and stupid and demented he is. It's the Americans and our media that seem to be a little slow on that. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.